Hello, and welcome to the Dr. Shelley Meyer YouTube channel and the Women in Medicine Be the Change podcast. I'm so excited to welcome my guest tonight, Dr. Heather Awad, and we're going to talk about her experiences in family medicine, her experiences with burnout, but then also the exciting things she's doing now. So, Dr. Awad, it's great to have you here. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, what kind of training you did in medicine and kind of your journey through medicine and how you got where you are right now.
Okay. Thanks so much for having me, Shelley. So my training is in family medicine, and I just went in with a real heart for primary care and loved that work, and got to a point where I was working for a corporate medicine at the time. And I just ended up getting really burnt out. I, was working long hours, not able to finish the computer work during the day, and like it happens to so many people, they fired all of the, like a third of the support staff. So everything was on your own. Yeah. And it was just a lot working. Everyone worked through lunch. I remember sitting there one day.
Yeah. Who has a lunch, right? We don't have a lunch.
Yeah. We're all just at the computer trying to stuff some food in our mouths. Yeah. And, I remember one day just laughing and going, "Oh, I'm so glad to hear that I'm not, you just said that you fall asleep at 1 a.m. charting. And I'm just so glad to hear that I'm not the only one who's doing that." And
everybody laughs about it. And then you're like, wait a minute, this is not funny, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I thought, well, this normalizes it. It's fine. Everyone's doing this. You go home, you take care of your family after work, and then you go back and do more work. And that's all you do, and it seemed really normal until I went to visit my grandmother on hospice, and I thought, I think this isn't okay. Shelley, I was like, this is my life, and they're doing it, and I just can't do it anymore. So I went home. I went back to work, and I quit after that week with my grandmother. And of course, it takes a while to even quit from a job, from your job.
Oh yeah, you have to give your 30 to 60 days or more.
Yes. Yeah. So I did a little administrative work, which I thought was dull, medical administrative work. Mm-hmm. I did medical acupuncture for a while, because I thought, well, that'll be a lot more Zen, and it was.
Where'd you get your training for that? Just curious, in case anybody else.
I did the Helms Medical Institute, which does train doctors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was terrific. I really enjoyed that.
How many hours?
That was, I don't even remember. It took 9 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you go down, do some virtual work and practicing at home, and then go down. It was like 3 visits to Arizona.
Okay.
3 weeks down there with instruction, and then some stuff at home. And a lot of doctors do it along with their practice, and I just did it on its own just because I needed a break from.
Right. It was just something completely different where you could help people in a different way. And so you did that. Did you start a practice that incorporated?
I did.
I interrupted you, so you go ahead and tell me all about that.
Yeah, I really actually just did acupuncture for a while.
Okay.
And it was just quiet, because you think about how rushed we are during our days too, in primary care. And I just did that, and I saw like 2 people an hour or 1 person an hour. It was slow medicine. Mm-hmm. And so it really gave me time to process my feelings about all that. And then I started looking, I was thinking, well, maybe I want to do something non-clinical, something else that's non-clinical, because there are a lot of choices. And I worked with a career coach who was a physician. And after looking at different interests, she said, you really like working with patients. So, and I said, I can't go back to that. And I had decided acupuncture wasn't forever for me. And then I found a job doing wound care, which was terrific. There was no call, no weekends.
Wow.
I saw people in the nursing home. Mm-hmm. I came to them. I was kind of the traveling doctor, traveling around town. I really.
Where'd you get your training for that?
I was a procedurally oriented family doctor. So that was part of it, just having the surgical skills there. Okay. But then the company, I worked for Vora Wound Physicians out of Florida, and they do also train you specifically in the wound care part of it. Because there's a lot of surgical debridement that goes on at the bedside, and learning about, the latest different things you can put on wounds and ways to treat them. And so they did train for that. which was
So
great.
you liked that. That was something different, and it was, I'm sure, interesting, and
I did.
Never got boring.
Yeah. It really didn't. And it was, it kind of surprised me that I liked working in the nursing home as much as I did. A lot of these folks didn't have someone who came to visit them every week.
Yeah, I've done a lot of part-time nursing homework too, and there's definitely reward in there.
Yeah, definitely. And to get people, when they have a doctor that comes and works with wounds every week, the wounds heal a lot faster.
Yes,
for like 100 reasons. And part of it's you being there, and part of it's just everything goes better when people are paying attention. And so that was fun too, because then you go to the nursing home and they're like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And, who doesn't love that in their job? Right.
Everybody likes to be appreciated.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that?
I did that for 3 years. And I did that through the alpha wave of COVID, which was challenging. In fact, even when primary care didn't go, I would go because everyone was afraid to send their patients to the hospital. So they're like, can you please come? Because if someone got infected, they would have to go into the hospital. So they're like, please come every week. And so it was scary times and a lot of sad times too there. But kind of once we all got vaccinated, and that was like the big party of the century. Then I went into a coaching program, a life coaching program for doctors, just to look more at, everyone has questioned their life when they went through that beginning of COVID, right? So
it was a pivotal time for so many different people in a lot of ways.
Looking at how your family relationships have changed and what do you think about your work? And I ended up, even though I loved my job, thinking, I've learned some things about myself where I could start my own business and do something else. Right. And even having the life coaching and learning how to have my own back more. Then I also lost 27 pounds because all of a sudden something that seemed difficult, kind of gaining weight with babies over the years and with hormonal changes, all of a sudden got pretty simple once I knew how to as a doctor, you learn how to do the hormone part, but I didn't really know how to do the having my own back part. And
yes, exactly.
And I'm not someone with willpower. So,
well, how'd you do it then? How'd you lose the 27 pounds?
I really looked at kind of optimizing my own insulin cycle. So looking at digestive hormone cycles.
Nice.
And giving myself some space in between eating time. And then learning things about giving up mindless eating and making plans for food and being able to feel safe that I was really going to follow my plan. And that was big for me because I really, a lot of us who are doctors are caregivers. And then we go home at night and have our families and we're caregivers to them and everyone comes before you. And so it was just, I had to, it isn't so much that I was like, okay, now everybody took the back burner. I just realized how to love them and take care of them and love myself and take care of myself. And that was mind blowing.
Yeah. What a simple concept, but so hard to incorporate into our lives when we're so used to being caregivers.
Yeah.
It really takes, it's one of the hardest habits to
it really is.
Really get into your life. Yeah. Anyway, so you did that and then you had the life coaching, and tell us now how you're bringing this all together.
So from there, I thought, well, if I have my own back and I can do what I want and set goals and actually keep them, then I was like, well, what do I want to do? And I have some people in my family, my dad and a couple of my brothers are in business. And I thought I've always wanted to have my own business. So I decided to coach other professional women for weight loss.
Great.
And that's what I've been doing for almost a year now. And that's been really fun. Just helping other women also learn how to keep their own commitments to themselves. Also help them optimize their digestive hormone cycle just by food timing and food choices, and eating things that they love, because diets are terrible. You
have to make it realistic and sustainable and something that doesn't feel like a punishment.
Yeah. I've met women who are like not eating their cultural food because they're trying to lose weight. And it's kind of like, well, but what do you want to eat forever? Well, you want to eat your cultural food. So let's lose weight with your cultural food,
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's been really fun.
When you talked about the hormone digestive cycle, are you incorporating fasting and cycle changes, menopause, those kind of things into how you're working?
So I would say about 2/3 of the people in my program do some intermittent fasting. They'll choose an eating window. And the thing that we do that's a little different than other people do is we template every day, because a lot of professional women are like, they travel, or if you're a doctor, maybe you have the 7 days that you work and the 7 days that you don't. And those are very different days. Yeah. So we kind of template every day. So it works great. And you get to have what you want on those days. So you kind of plan out everything so it fits your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And then the other people I have are like, I'm not interested in fasting. And they eat, I would say mostly they eat 3 meals and no snacks.
Okay.
And then they just watch the weight fall off. And
these are, you're working with the women together in a group or one-on-one, or how is the structure?
Yeah, we have a course. So they have some things online that they can do videos and worksheets, but also they meet with me every week for accountability. And then we do a group session every week as well, so that they get to talk to each other, and we get to kind of share the commonalities that we all have.
Yeah, I think that's essential. I mean, look at the success of Weight Watchers and those kind of programs where, well, not as much anymore. I did it as a teenager, and there was that community, support, accountability too, where we weighed in, which is now seems a little kind of demeaning or something. But, at the time felt supportive, and having that community leader for Weight Watchers and just the support of everybody else there and people cheering you on, I think is important. So now we have that option virtually to have these communities that are really so important. And the accountability piece, the meeting with you, I think is really important as well to know where they're struggling and where, how this can be individualized, because it's never a one size fits all approach for weight management. Yeah. Definitely. Small groups, or is it continuously running? Or are you doing kind of different cycles throughout the year?
We do it different cycles around the year. So our next one will be in mid-September. I do have some people that stay on, but I'll tell you, most people do 12 weeks and they're like, I got it. Yeah, and I just email them later, hey, how you doing? And they're like, I lost 30 pounds. I'm buying new clothes. And they're just, they don't really need me after. But some people are like, I still, whether if they, some people haven't lost all the weight at 12 weeks. In fact, I would say a lot of them haven't, but they know what to do. So they're like, this is easy.
They put the habits in place, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then some of them, there are a few people that will stay on and keep coaching with me. I keep that as a possibility, because some people really want to have that accountability.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you need to have that flexibility. I mean, some people, like you said, in 12 weeks, you said, right?
Yeah.
120 days, that is the stepping stone. And then they can really keep it going on their own. But there's I've worked in weight loss too. And there's a lot of times people will need that more continued support as well. So it's good to have that flexibility so you can meet people where they are. Well, that's awesome. So you're really enjoying this shift that you made.
I am. It's really fun for me. It's fun to be able to watch these women discover new things about themselves, and to have felt like they couldn't lose weight. I've actually had a couple of people who said, well, I can't lose weight eating food. And I just said, well, let's try it.
Let's shift our mindset a little bit.
Let's see what it is. Or I'll have someone who actually said, I did have someone who said, I can't lose weight eating food. And I said, but what's happening now? And she's like, oh, I'm losing weight and I'm eating food.
Imagine that. What are your options if you have to eat food?
Right. I think she had done like shakes and liquid diets and bars and things where you didn't really eat real food. And
they work, but it's so hard to really then maintain that, with that. And it's not good for you. It's all that processed food. So that's good. You're working with real food. You're working with accountability and community and all of that. Sure, seeing a lot of success. Do you have women physicians in your groups? Or
I do. I have every time. Yeah.
Great. Great, great, great.
How
are you? How are people finding you?
There, a lot of people just get referred from friends who've lost weight in the program. But I do have a podcast, the Vibrant.MD podcast.
Awesome. Everybody should check that out.
Yeah. So they're pretty short segments, but I give some information about weight loss and women's health there, and then I announce too when we have a freebie that people can look up, or if the course is coming up, then they can sign up.
Oh, cool. So that's how people can find out more about you at, what was the name of the podcast again? The
Vibrant-MD. Yeah.
Vibrant-MD. I just didn't know about the dash in there. And then if they want to look, are you on social media? Or
I am. Yeah. That is, if we can put it in the notes, is on Instagram.
Yeah, we definitely will.
I'm Heather Awad, MD.
Okay. Nice.
Instagram. And there's also a Vibrant-MD Facebook page if people look that up.
Oh, cool. And then where did you do your life coach training?
I'm certified with the life coach school.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. So I do. And we all learn life coaching and weight loss coaching through there with our certification.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I know there's some different avenues that particularly, our audience is female physicians here. So, or women in medicine in general. So there's different paths they can take. So it's good to know where everybody did their training. And then if you had to put a message out there to a female physician or a woman in medicine that's struggling right now with burnout and just is like, I can't do this anymore, what would you say as far as even just self-care or maybe next steps that they could take?
Sure. I would say, forget about resilience. We've been told to be resilient.
Yes. So true.
We've been told to go to a yoga class.
I know.
Yeah.
Which can help, but that's not the solution.
Which could help in your free time that you don't have.
Right?
Right. Not even getting enough sleep. I would say look at the things that that need to change and allow that some things do need to change. But I would say also is take little breaks. And they sound like silly things, but do eat your food. Not at the computer. If you actually sit in a different chair or go outside and spend 10 minutes actually eating that food, it will make such a difference in your day. It really increases your productivity for the afternoon. We don't think it will.
I know.
If we just keep slogging along, it's going to work. But it actually, you just kind of, with the slog, you kind of deteriorate through the afternoon.
You do.
Yeah. I have a friend
who mental space. Go ahead.
Yes. I have this friend who is a hospitalist, and she had this adorable post on Facebook of herself outside standing in the grass, of the hospital. And she's like, I went outside, like 5-minute break. And these things actually make a difference.
They do.
And we think, I can't do that. I can't leave the hospital if I'm the hospitalist. You can walk out the door and stand in the grass and just look around at the trees and then go back in, and it will actually make a difference. Yeah,
it will. You got to think about the long term, like that 5 minutes. What is that really going to do? How is that really going to negatively impact your day? And we need to start standing up for ourselves and, making it known to everyone else that we work with that this is a priority, that mental space, that mental health, that getting away from the patient or you can't leave right in the middle of patient care, but like having a break, having lunch.
Yeah.
Seeing, why don't we deserve that?
Right. Another thing I would say too is that if there are people in your practice who say mean things to you, talk to other people about that, because I am shocked at the bullies that people have in their own groups, and it isn't okay. And it really wasn't okay during residency, even though we normalized it. It's definitely not okay anymore in practice, and should be talked about out loud with other people.
I agree. And we feel like we learned that from residency and medical school, right? That, you have this grunt work and you got to like take it and, put up with whatever, as long as you're doing the medicine and being the doctor and like handling all the responsibilities that are put on you. You're not allowed to to be emotional or, talk about your feelings, right?
And everyone's emotional, and it's okay to talk about our feelings.
It is. And it's not okay for people to treat you, like you said, bullying or treat you in the way that is not respectful.
Right.
And there's just such a crazy culture in medicine that we need to change. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast and this, change the subject of the channel, just because it needs to all be talked about. And the more we talk about it, hopefully the more things will change. Yes.
I love that you're shedding a light on all this, because we need to change the culture. Yeah,
we do. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I am going to put all your contact information in the show notes and in the description on the channel.
Thank you.
And I love what you're doing. I think, especially helping women professionals and women in medicine really take a look at eating and really be mindful about it, and sustainable changes, and really it's just all part of the self-care that we all need to do.
Yeah. So. There's a lot of our culture that doesn't work toward this, and just looking at, how people do this and saying, oh, I don't have to do what everybody else is doing. And, I can look at how I want to eat the things I love and wait for me. And I just love that. It's fun to watch women just kind of get some freedom with it.
Freedom. Don't we need more of that for sure? Well, thanks so much, Heather. Thanks for joining me. And it's been a great conversation.